Hello everybody, I'm Bob and this is Thailand. May you live in interesting times is what I keep telling myself. It's quite strange here, but I had to go across town to deliver my passport to my visa agent. To maintain a visa here, you have to check in 3 times a year, 90 days apart, and do an annual re-up. So today I'm riding my motorcycle across town to give my passport to my visa agent and get out of this room because I've been holed up here for a while. I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. But let's go for a ride. Well, here we are, heading out on a little side street to hop on Hui Kaew. I jumped wide because I wasn't sure if that guy knew his turn signal was on or not. We're coming up on Kad Suan Kaew shopping mall. It's huge. There are 2 hotels in it. Oh boy, that Honda 300 did a number on me, didn't he? That's okay. We don't need to race anybody today. It's light traffic. It'll probably be a very pleasant ride over from my standpoint. We're at the northwest wall corner. That's what you see across the street to the right. And as soon as we pull across here, we'll be going over to the right so we can hook around and loop back to go out toward the airport. That's the old city moat there. It's about 4 miles long, and each side of the moat is roughly a mile, so it's a square old city area. This is some of the old wall you see here. It's 730 years old, so they're not doing a lot of maintenance on the older parts. They are maintaining the wall corners like the one to our right now. I want you to look up here. There's all these yellow trees that are blooming right now. They're called golden shower trees. And here's a tuk-tuk, which I'm going to squeeze by. The main center wall gate for this side of the wall is coming up now. That's it. And it's cross street is Soisi Tep. More golden shower trees. Excuse me. This is Banhad Park coming up on our left at the next corner. And the southwest wall corner is what we're passing right now. You can see some of the playground equipment, and there's a jogging track, all sorts of analog exercise equipment, and a lake, and it's a whole lot of people do Tai Chi there. Okay, we coming back around, back down the moat to get to where we were before. This is sort of a wacky intersection here, so as we turn through the curve, we're looking down toward the airport shopping mall, and what I'd like to tell you is, right before we get down to the next set of intersections, right after we start climbing up the ramp, I'm going to look to the left. And my favorite restaurant is down there in Nim Plaza. It's called Okaju. There we go. And now the full in front of us is the airport mall. That's a big mall. I have gotten lost in it a couple of times. It's not laid out like you would expect. Now this is a highway 1141. It runs on out to Lampang, and it's heading in the general direction of the Promenada shopping mall, which is a real nice mall too. But we don't go quite to the Promenada before we have to turn off and go back into Sois. We get a few high-speed drivers out here, but most people are in shock because there's no traffic currently. That's really an amazing thing for us. This is usually dodge them, kind of like, running with the football when you're a high school football player and everybody else out there is trying to get you. Well, we're crossing or about to cross the Maiping River somewhere along here on the south side. We crossed it. We'll cross it again on the north side when we're coming back from the Visa lady's place. A lot of these, that's one of the few turnarounds that we're going past now. Our next big road mark is a Shell station with a Burger King in it. And I like that one because their air is not only is it free, but it's got real short connections on it, so I can get it into my motorcycle wheels. It's not like a car; it doesn't stick out to the side. And this is our last overpass before we get out down there. Technicolor houses there. A lot of the houses here are just like houses at the beach. They get so much sun and heat and humidity. There's our Burger King on the left. They get so much sun and heat and humidity that paint just doesn't last that long. And a lot of people, especially in these rental properties, aren't going to pay a whole lot, for the best quality paint. Okay, now we're slowing down. The turn here is actually on the entrance ramp to the Superhighway. But and there used to be a post office here, but I think it turned it into a nursery. Some businesses just don't seem to last in certain locations, and I frequently go somewhere I've been several times and it's not there anymore. And this is a little street. Now, Thais, like certain presidents, like walls. Frequently, there'll be a wall erected before they put a building on the site. There's one of those real near where I live over here in Chiang Mai. The good part about the walls is you rarely, if ever, see dogs running around. I've only had to dodge 2 dogs in 5 years, so that works pretty good. But because the walls are right out at the property line, you can't see very far down and around these curves, so you got real short field of vision with all these walls. Now we're about to get there. It's right around this next clump of trees. And we'll park, wash our hands, and go in, or else we'll get beat up.
Hello there. Just have a seat. Okay. Oh, I need you to take out that so that I can take the photo. I can take the photo on there.
That'll be just fine.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You take care of everything, so I'm just along for the
This
ride.
time you just say goodbye to the immigration here. Say no, I got my way out. I don't need to come see you this year. Yeah.
Well, I don't think, if they're like the police, I haven't seen a police checkpoint in a week. They don't seem to be doing any checks.
Yes, exactly. Now it's time to us to fly. We really want to go somewhere.
Well,
We've been stuck.
I keep seeing these little videos about flying cars and all, and I've been, when I was in the 1950s, they were promising us flying cars eventually, but I can't help thinking whenever they turn people who don't drive that well on the ground loose with flying cars, it's going to be a big mess.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, Milk. Nice to see you.
See you ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ
Sorry, guys.
You still on that?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Always.
And Milk. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to see if I can get my head in this helmet. Well, thank you.
Okay, สวัสดีค่ะ
Okay, sorry.
Have a nice day.
Take care นะคะ
Bye-bye. They're always real sweet. I'll try and get my helmet on without losing my face mask. That worked better than last time. Now we're going to take the Superhighway back around to where I live. It's just with the way they've got the roads one way around the square, it makes you have to go past stuff and turn back around. Well, I'm not calling any names, but somebody forgot to click their chin strap and had to stop. And then as I pull into the road, I get hit in the head. Duh. Well, some turns are better than others. Now this is a large intersection, and it's got interstate type highways coming in from 3 directions. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling out onto a multi-lane entrance ramp, and we'll have to run down the frontage road a ways to get on the actual interstate, or they call it the Superhighway. It runs about 3/4 of the way around town, and on one end kind of dumps into the airport, and on the other end heads back out of town toward Lampang and Langpung. They keep a nice amount of flowers growing in the median. It's attractive. It's easier to look at, and that's also got those big old, my favorite, yellow trees up there too. It never becomes winter here, so there are flowers all year round. The flower festival is in February, and everybody doesn't have to worry about that. There's fresh fruit all year round. There's fresh market still here with us in the lockdown. Now, just for your information, if you don't know, Thailand has a curfew from 10 at night until 6 in the morning, or excuse me, until 4 in the morning, my bad. And you can get takeaway food at the restaurants. They don't want you to travel between provinces, but you can get out and about, and critical services are all open. Schools are closed. And a lot of restaurants are just, rather than do takeout, they've closed down, although it's still easy to find food. There's no shortage of toilet paper, in case anybody in America was wondering, or other paper stuffs. And we're coming around here. If you look up to the right, that's Super C somewhere along here, which is or Circle C. It's a lot like Walmart, and there's also a place called Tesco Lotus that's in the Walmart mode too. We don't have Walmarts here. Now off to your right, there's this wonderful place called Chiang Mai Smokehouse, and they do a lot of stuff real good, and their meatloaf is just tremendous. But I don't get paid by them. I eat there sometimes, but there's many places to eat closer to the house too. See one of our many this is coming up on Highway 118. Right after we cross the 118 intersection, if you look to the right, you'll see the Central Festival, which is I think it's the biggest mall in town. I haven't been all through it, but it's a nice mall. It's pretty good stuff there. There's McDonald's on the left. They're well installed in both Thailand and China. There's a lot of them. They're mostly all closed except for the drive-throughs. Yeah, we're going under 118, I believe. It's up to the right, that orange-looking stuff, that's the mall. If I remember correctly, a couple of hellions on a scooter are getting ready to blow by me in the slow lane somewhere along here. It's this must be 1101. The roads here are surprisingly good. I had a Frenchman tell me the other day the roads in Thailand are better than the roads in France. That's secondhand information, so don't start sending me hate mail. There's those hellions I promised you, just sailing along at 55 or 60. road TOT, Transportation of Thailand, working over here. They've got a lot of road torn up where they're cloning the highway between here and Lampung. But all of this is in real good shape, and if you get on the mountain, you'll notice through the haze that there's a mountain ahead. That's called Doi Suthep, and one of the most popular attractions in Chiang Mai is the temple at the top of the mountain. Wat, W-A-T, is the word for temple in Thai, and that's called Wat Doi, which is Mountain Suthep. So Wat Doi Suthep is at the top of that somewhere in the haze. It's funny, the day after I made this film, we got probably 5 or 6 inches of rain overnight, and our AQI was down to 21. It's back up to, I think, 42 today, but you can see the mountain much more clearly. That's about 5,600 or something like that feet. It's a good ride up there on a motorcycle too, if you like to have a little fun with the curves and swerves. That's a good close-in run to do, to be able to play with your motorcycle some, get a lot of curves, and still, get home for dinner. Good stuff. I believe we're coming. That 80 is 80 kilometers per hour. Now, I know everybody in America doesn't know metric stuff, and by golly, I didn't either when I came over here. I had to spend some time doing it, but the fact is, a kilometer or kilometer is 6/10 of a mile. So there's almost 2 kilometers in a mile. And it's about 10 kilometers up to the temple from the base of the mountain where the zoo is, and there's 96 curves, unless I missed one. Or, you start thinking about how you define a curve. How much does it bend or whatnot? I don't know. Now, here we are, almost around the Superhighway to the Nimmenhausen part of town. We've got to take a look and see if we got enough battery power on the camera to get in. I'm just going to run for it. There's another Thailand transportation. They're good about getting trash up off the roads. Very, very good in my opinion. They even have ladies that sweep the sidewalks first thing in the morning, because a lot of the sidewalks are underneath trees, vines, and various other foliage. And some of them will drop fruit on you if you're not careful. So this is 107. It goes out to the Elephant Park and the Queen's Arboretum out at Mae Sai, and you go out to Mae Rim and hang a left, and there's a bunch of stuff. There's lions and tigers and bears and flowers and elephants and even insect museums and snake shows. And if you go to that snake show, let me tell you, they're going to throw a rubber hose at you right at the end of the show and scare the poop out of you. So if you've got any sensitive children, you might want to think about that. Wat Umang, Wat Pralat. Yeah, we're going to be able to get in on this battery, I feel sure. All these shops, there's about 10 of every kind of motorcycle shop in here. And there's a Yamaha over by my house. We just passed a Yamaha. Here comes the Grand View on the left, which has got a good Japanese style restaurant in it and caters to a lot of Japanese. They come down here during the winter when there's snow on their golf courses. We're going to cut over here and head down Hui Kao. Maya is the big mall on your right, and Maya is Thai for magic. And it's a very attractive mall. It's got an entire food floor, and then the entire basement is like street food. So it's pretty cool. This is Hui Kao Road. They just paved it back there at the corner where, when I made the corner, I was on brand new asphalt. Easy, guys. Don't get too close. There's a big, off to our right, there's a big grocery store market. That green thing is a school. They're building a new hotel on the left. And we're going to turn back into the street that goes to my condo. We've got fruit and corn, veggies, fruit, fresh peeled fruit, fried chicken, and Thai food in those little markets right across the street. And there's 2 restaurants in the condo, so you don't really have to go too far for your food if you don't want to. And this is my favorite parking spot. They left it open for me. I'm only 20 feet from the night security guard.